Let's go over calculating our x and y intercepts from an equation. So first, let's kind of ground ourselves in some notes, and let's talk about what the x-intercept and the y-intercept are. So the x-intercept is where our line crosses our x-axis. So you can see from my graph down below, my x-axis runs horizontally, my y-axis runs vertically. So my x-intercept is where this line crosses my x-axis. So for this little graph down here, let's write down here. There's my x-intercept. And that would be the point when x is 1 and y is 0. Which gets to a really important point for intercepts, which is that at your x-intercept, y will always equal 0. For our y-intercept is where our line crosses our y-axis. So for the graph I drew down below, my y-intercept is at this red point. That is my y-intercept. And that is the point right here where x equals 0 and y equals 2. Which gets to a very important point for what y-intercepts are. Not only are they a line that cross where our line crosses our y-axis, but they are also where x is always 0. And these definitions are how we can calculate our x and y intercepts from an equation. We use these definitions to do this calculation. So let's take a look at this function. So I'm over here now, looking at the function y equals 3x minus 6. And I want to start calculating my x-intercept. So to do that, what I know is true about my x-intercept is that at the x-intercept, y equals 0. So I will replace y with 0 and solve for x. So instead of y equals 3x minus 6, I'm going to say 0 equals 3x minus 6. Let me move that right here so I can start solving it with a little more space. Okay, so I have 0 equals 3x minus 6. I'm going to pull out some of my algebra skills. I'm going to add 6 to each side. So I have 6 equals 3x. And then I'm going to divide by 3. So my answer is x equals 2. So what that means is here, let me erase some stuff, give myself a little more space. I'm going to erase everything over here. Fix that 0. So what this means is when y equals 0, x equals 2. And so I know that for this function right here, for the function y equals 3x minus 6, I would have a coordinate point at 2, 0. And that would be my x-intercept. That is where, if I were to graph this function, y equals 3x minus 6, would cross my x-axis at the point 2, 0. To calculate my y-intercept, I'm going to follow the same process. What I know is true at my y-intercept is at my y-intercept, x equals 0. I know that at my y-intercept, here, let me draw a line, kind of clean this up. I know that at my y-intercept, x equals 0. So I'm going to replace x with 0 and solve for y. Okay, so my original function was y equals 3x minus 6, and I'm going to replace x with 0. So I'm going to say y equals 3 times 0 minus 6. And since 3 times 0 is just 0, my answer is y equals negative 6. So I know when x equals 0, y equals negative 6, which means that my y-intercept is the point 0, negative 6. So again, for the function y equals 3x minus 6, I know that my line will cross the y-axis at the point 0, negative 6.